Hey! We have a lot of Power Rangers stuff today. Gee, oh my god. Gee, I wonder why. Welcome to the Wulff Den.
So this is Tim. Tim, like the both of us, are big Power Ranger fans. I would venture a guess and say you're probably a bigger Power Ranger fan than either of us.
I don't know. I think it started out you were the bigger fan.
Probably.
Yeah,
we lost. I lost my way over the years with all their variations and whatnot.
Oh, so did I.
Oh yeah.
But then I picked up toward the end.
Yeah.
I'm not that big of a fan. I was only a fan during the original run.
Well, it's a good thing you're a fan of the original run because last week Lionsgate is partnering with Saban Brands, the company that owns the Power Rangers, to create a brand new Power Rangers movie based on the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series. This series is intended to be, I don't want to say a gritty reboot of the Power Rangers, but something along those lines.
I hope so.
Well, that's what everyone wanted. I know.
That seems to be like the big thing on the internet. Is like everybody wants like a hardcore Power Rangers.
Well, even Jason David Frank himself, who played Green and White Ranger in Mighty Morphin, was like, I really want a gritty reboot, like a Dark Knight-esque version, but then again, who doesn't want a Dark Knight version of anything?
Yeah.
Of Power Rangers, and like he was pushing toward it, and he was like, oh, you know, something might happen, and then
now here we are.
Lionsgate's got it. So.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be sort of a PG-13 angle they're going for, something definitely more modern, something definitely, I guess, a lot less campy as the original version was.
Something like the Dave Raposa concept art.
I guess, yeah.
He just made it like the other day.
Maybe
That's really cool.
Maybe not with the jacket.
It's even got like the movie boots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they made these too.
Because even the first movie, like as campy as it is, like I love that.
It was, it was very like they tried to make it a little serious. You know, it was dimly lit. You know, they wore like actual armor instead of like spandex.
Where's my autograph book?
Yeah.
Like it was good. Like I don't know why. Like I mean, obviously the second one stunk.
Yeah.
But it was also candid though. Not candid. Canon. Because the first movie really had nothing to do with the show. Canon, but then Turbo, actually, you needed to see that to watch Turbo.
Yeah.
But then Turbo ended up stinking. So, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. So I guess what's something that we want to see in this series? Like what are we looking forward to aside from it being a little bit more serious than the original? Like, who do we want to see in the movie? What do we think is important to Power Rangers that needs to be
like
in
what
this movie?
characters do we want to see?
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't know. I think if they want to keep it like serious, like I think they should steer away from Rita and stay with Zed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like when Zed got introduced to the show, like things kind of took a turn. Like it started to be a little bit scarier because Zed was horrifying.
He's a man who's
like he's got no skin.
Out.
Yeah, and there's like you see the blood flowing through the like he was really scary.
Yeah.
Like I think Zed should be in it or someone similar to Zed.
Yeah.
I think that'll definitely help with the tone at least.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if because this is the original Megazord right here, but that isn't necessarily my favorite. My favorites was the second one, the Thunder Zords.
Oh god,
and
Thunder
the
Megazord was awesome.
Ninja Zords.
Yeah.
So me personally, I like
Zords.
Yeah.
The Ninja Zord was really cool too.
Yeah, with the Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the first movie.
Yeah.
They were in
I would like. Me personally, I like to see those in this new movie. It probably won't happen. They'll probably stick with the original.
I don't know.
Megazord.
I don't know. I think I don't know. I think they might actually like make their own, or at least something that's an offshoot of this one.
Yeah.
Like, but like this is like if they want to do Mighty Morphin, like they kind of have to do this one because this is the one that everyone's gonna recognize. But I mean, like, I don't know. Like if they kind of messed it, like as long as they don't do like I keep saying like because it's a crutch, a like kind of they don't do the Michael Bay thing. With like how they did with Transformers.
Oh yeah.
Where like it looks similar to Bumblebee, but it's not.
Right.
So I mean, I hope they keep it similar to this Megazord.
Right.
Now, do you think they're gonna change the characters? Do you think they're gonna still have Billy and Jason, the originals, or do you think they're gonna?
That's another thing people are wondering.
Make all new characters.
Like, yeah. Like, is this gonna be like Jordan and Ashley and Steve instead of Billy, Trini, and Tommy?
Yeah.
So
They could I just think, again, if you're doing Mighty Morphin, I mean, you don't necessarily have to, but then if you start doing the same names, then everyone's going to start calling for, let's bring in the same actors. And, like, you really can't because none of them, except for Jason David Frank, he's the only one that could possibly do it, and maybe Steve Cardenas, who played the Red Ranger, after Austin St. John. But, like, I don't think that they would be good fits. I think that they should kind of play with the characters themselves and give them new ones. Because there are a few fan films that are being done now that are really gritty.
Yeah.
And they're not doing the original cast. They're doing, like, their own version of it, which is cool. So if they did do that, I think that would get a lot of people up in arms. But when is there ever a movie that's about something that we liked as children?
Where people don't get up in arms.
Exactly, yeah.
Those fan films, are they still the same characters? Like, is it still Zach and Jason?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
Yeah, it's different. It's different characters.
But it's still the same, like, outfits, and it's still Mighty Morphin.
It's still Mighty Morphin, and the outfits are very similar.
Okay.
There's one that's being done that's called, like, Zordon of Eltar, which is based off of Zordon and how he got the Power Ranger powers.
Yeah.
And then there's another one which is just called MMPR.
That's the one I know.
Yeah, that's the one where, like, they're like a government team. Like, the government knows who they are. They're like a secret weapon against evil. And, like, the Lord Zed is in it.
Yeah.
And the voice who played Lord Zed is actually doing the voice of Lord Zed in this, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But that's, like, a dark, gritty version, too.
I mean, for something like this, I feel like it should definitely go the route of the new Star Trek movies, where, like, it's the same characters we know, but with new actors. Because, you know, we know these helmets as certain people.
Yeah.
So to have them all of a sudden be completely different people, it just changes it entirely. I mean, yeah.
Well, they've been different people.
Right.
Like different people take on the mantle of each one of the Rangers, don't they?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, they have. But, I mean, in terms of, like, what we remember certain characters in these roles.
Right.
You know, I mean, yeah, there have been 2 Black Rangers, Zach and Adam, but
there were also 2 yellow. No, actually, there's 3 yellow.
3 Yellow Rangers, 2 Red Rangers. But I mean, like, you know, like I said, there are 2 Black Rangers, Zach and Adam. You can't, you know, all of a sudden introduce, like, Gary, the Black Ranger.
Yeah, I mean, that would be weird unless the only way that's worked successfully is the fact that every year they reboot the cast for a new set of Rangers.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, but at the same time, you know, when you start... That's the thing that stinks about this that they're doing Mighty Morphin, was because Mighty Morphin lasted for so long. It lasted like 4 years.
Yeah.
And then the cast stayed until the end of Turbo. By the end of Turbo, the entire cast had been completely flipped and no one was original.
Right.
The longest running was Jason David Frank as Tommy.
Yeah.
But, like, you start... Like, that's the reason why I think Mighty Morphin is so, like, held on this pedestal. One, because it was the first, and also stuck with people the longest because they lasted the longest.
Right, and we, you know, when you last that long, we get to know the characters more, we get to see them evolve over time.
Yeah.
You know, everybody remembers, you know, the Green Ranger miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 5 episodes of, like, this evil Power Ranger they couldn't defeat, and then they defeated him. Then he joined the team, and then all of a sudden he goes through this, like, roller coaster of a story arc.
Yeah, where he's losing his powers,
and he comes back as the White Ranger, stronger than ever.
That was when the show, like, really went, like, up. Because, like, even if you go back and, like, read... I know IGN had done, like, a big piece about them.
Best Power Ranger
Yeah,
episodes,
and, like, the miniseries was, like, the top because, like, it was, like, the best written.
Yeah.
You know, so there were points where that show actually had, like, good writing, and that was one of them. Like, if they do... And that was really dark, too.
Yeah.
Like, that whole part where, like, where Tommy's, like, being held captive by, like, Goldar, like, that was rough.
Yeah.
And they could do things like that. I just think, like, even the first Ninja Turtles movie.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That was dark. And, like,
it
really was not for kids. It didn't really start becoming for kids until
like
maybe the second
movie,
and then absolutely the third.
Yeah.
You know, that train wreck of a movie. Let's go to feudal Japan.
I think they have to have the Green Ranger in it.
Yeah.
So many people like the Green Ranger.
Yeah, well, that's another thing because the Green
maybe
Ranger.
maybe they'll do a trilogy.
Maybe
they'll make it into a big, you know,
everything's
to do.
set up to be a trilogy.
So
nowadays,
maybe they'll have him doing something at the
in
end.
the second one.
That would be actually kind of cool.
Because that'll get a lot of people interested in the second.
Yeah.
And everyone's
If
like,
they make
yeah,
a second one.
Yeah.
That would be, I don't know, like, I think that would be awesome, but at the same time, like, everyone's going to want to see it. unless they're kind of redoing the beginning of the actual story from Mighty Morphin.
Probably.
Like
I mean, this definitely sounds like it's going to be like a complete reboot. Like they're throwing the old series out and starting fresh.
I hope they take the first movie to focus on the original Power Rangers and then make another movie with the Green Ranger as the bad guy. That way they have a lot of time to build on these characters.
That would be
cool. The best way to do it. Probably not going to be that way. They'll probably Spider-Man 2 it. But
he'll already be the White Ranger. But
yeah, right? It's funny, because isn't it, because you were saying a trilogy, Lionsgate did what? They did Hunger Games, The Divergent, and something else I think they did too. And those are all trilogies.
Yeah.
So it would be great.
Yeah,
as long as it's done correctly. Like, I have no issues with this. Granted, I think, because you know what it is, that no one is named a producer, no one is named a director.
Right. It's just
like, so no one's ready to be like.
It's just basically Saban and Lionsgate saying like, "Hey, we want to do this."
My only fear is that since Saban, I mean, obviously Saban has to be involved because it's their brand, it's their license, so they could. Like, that's my only fear, is that Saban could not allow it to get that gritty because, you know, at the end of the day, Saban is all about kids.
Yeah.
You know? So it may not get as dark as I think we want it to. But then again, you know, Dark Knight was, what, PG-13? And that was
yeah, they got away with a lot.
Yeah, they really did.
So, I mean, it probably will be PG-13 because that's, like, the sweet spot for movies. Like, it's not too heavy where, like, kids can't see it, but it's not too... light where people will be like turned away from it thinking it's just, like kid material.
Well, this was marketed towards kids originally.
Yeah.
So you think the movie will be a little aged up, PG-13?
I would think
I think so. Cause
I think they should. Cause everybody's grown up now.
Yeah. There's that, and like this the idea that when you try to age something up, it adds a certain weight to it. Like it has a certain like seriousness to it that even like older people, much older than us, will like appreciate it.
Well, that's because when you're watching a kid show for kids or even a movie for kids, like there's not really. It's like I'm a kid. I have no care in the world. And once you become an adult, like everything's more serious. There, like you said, there's a weight on you. So there should be. Yeah. Like there should be that kind of like I have now gone 20 years. Like so much of my life has changed. Yeah. So should the Power Rangers.
But on that respect, how heavy do you think this movie should go within the confines of a PG-13 film? Because if you ask me, like, something like The Dark Knight is probably as dark as a PG-13 film can get, and I don't think it should go anywhere near there, because there's a lot of humor. Part of the appeal of the Power Rangers is, like, the humor that's attached to it, even, like, ironically or unironically. Right. Let us not forget, Bulk and Skull, our generation's Laurel and Hardy, so... I mean, they have to be in it. They have to.
I was going to say, do you think they should be in it?
They sort of have to. Like they're pretty much essential. Like they're just as important as like the original. That members.
Show would not have made it had they not been in it. Like at all, they wouldn't have done it. And they had some of the best storylines like of the show, like the best arcs, and like they had the most character development out of all of like some of the bland characters of that show. Yeah. Back to your point about where it should go. The reason why it shouldn't go to Dark Knight is because Dark Knight is based on a tragedy. Yeah. Like, Batman himself is based on a tragedy. Someone dies. No one's really died in the Power Ranger world. Like, there have been, like, 3 characters that have died in Power Rangers. Not, like, Trini, who had actually died, but storyline-wise, that's not nice to laugh at a death.
It's okay. It's a 9/11 joke, kind of.
So I don't know if they can even go that far unless they do a tragic story, because these guys need to be like, everything's fueled by some sort of tragedy now when it comes to these movies. Spider-Man, everything, like these heroes. They never really were. They were just 5 kids chosen random.
5 teenagers
or
with
not
attitude.
Necessarily random, but yeah.
They had attitude.
Well, then that was their predetermined. Yeah. So they should all be total jerks.
Yeah.
Like the entire time. Like Spider-Man and Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
But less stupid.
Yeah.
So I think, like, if they want to do that, they need to make at least maybe one of them, whether it be if they do Jason or they do Tommy, like something like that, where they were like something happens to him where he goes like, now I need to become a Power Ranger because I need to avenge or stop this from ever happening again, which would be really cool. I don't know if kids can handle that, but again, I don't know if this one's going to be marketed toward kids as much, but it's gonna have to because it is Power Rangers and the show is still going strong.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you've got all these people that are like hardcore Super Sentai fans. And that's a whole nother world.
That was something I wanted to bring up too, yeah.
Whole nother world.
For those of you who are dumb,
It's me.
Power Rangers took footage from the Japanese show
I knew
Super
that.
Sentai.
I knew that.
And
God, that I knew!
basically spliced it in with footage of American actors doing American things, and then when it came time to the Power Rangers, they took the footage from Super Sentai and just spliced it together to try and make a half an hour kids show. So how are they gonna address that in this movie? They probably
They're just
won't.
not.
They probably
Yeah, they're just
won't
not gonna
use
do it.
any Super Sentai footage.
No.
But do you think they'll even like reference it or like make some sort
They'll
of?
probably
link
have it
to
like on TV somewhere.
Well, they actually did
like
that.
two giant robots fighting.
Yeah.
They've done that in an episode of Power Rangers.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's an episode of them. There's two parts. There's one where they're watching Masked Rider, which ended up actually coming to the States too, but now
Yeah.
it's known as Kamen Rider. There's an episode where they're watching that on TV, and then there's an episode where they're watching Super Sentai, but a Sentai that Saban didn't do for the United States, for Power
Right.
Rangers, and they're just like, what is this? They're ripping off the Power Rangers.
I think I remember that.
Yeah,
episode.
I forgot. I think it was like RPM or something
Yeah.
like that. They had made a joke about it. So like they'll occasionally like kind of do a tongue-in-cheek thing about
Yeah.
it. But that Super Sentai is actually like, I guess it's because the culture's different in Japan and America.
Yeah.
But they're more serious than than the United States.
Now, will you be upset? Will you walk out of the theater if this one is not Asian?
I think so. They openly said that it was a complete accident.
Yeah.
Like they did not realize it.
A likely story.
It didn't.
You believe that?
Well, no, it wasn't just that too. She was Asian. He was black, and then he was Native American.
Was he actually? He was Native American?
Austin St. John.
Wait, he's really Native American?
he's
I
Native
did
American.
not know that.
And then also it didn't help that when Tommy when they went to Zeo, he took the Red Ranger power. He's also got Native American in him. So it didn't end. It didn't end. It ended when I forgot his name. The other Red Ranger, the black guy who took over.
After Turbo, yeah.
Yeah, who took over in Turbo. Like
that
was
was we need to do something about this.
Yeah, like finally after 5 years we
Yeah.
need to change this. Can we tell the story about how we first met?
Yes.
Because it involves Power Rangers.
It does.
Okay, so I had just moved to where we all live now, and it was my first day of elementary school, and we were sitting outside waiting online. I guess to go. I guess we were waiting to get into class,
Yeah.
or whatever it was, and you had the Zeomorpher.
The two gauntlet
Yeah, like we
ones
did
that I
that.
had them on.
In
And-
class?
Well, no, we were
I think,
in
like,
class
yeah.
yet.
I think I had them on. I might have had them on all day. I might have.
Well, I don't know because they were in my possession at
Yeah.
the end of the story. We had just met, and I introduced myself, and you introduced yourself, and we had maybe talked for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I somehow got the cojones to ask you to borrow them, and you're like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, okay. And then like I took them home. My mom's like, where did you get this? She's like, I'm like, oh, my friend Will. She's like, who's Will? I'm like, I just met him. She's like, okay, why do you have it? He's like, he gave it to me. She's like, no, he didn't. He's like, no, all right, he let me borrow them. And she's like, why are you asking to borrow something for something you just met? And I'm like, they're really cool. And like, that was it. And then Will and I became friends.
Yeah.
So we met over a Zero Ranger Morpher.
Yes.
And I didn't break them. I didn't keep them. I gave them back.
Yes, I still have them.
Where the hell are they? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I love that Morpher.
they're in my room.
How come you don't wear them anymore?
Because the little bracelet parts are gone.
Forget
I
these.
still wear these.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
These. I still have the bracelet, the broken one that you gave me, like in like.
Oh my
Yeah,
How
god.
many bracelets do you give each other?
Well, on that note, you've heard our opinions on what we want the Power Rangers
I
movie
feel like Bob
to be.
hasn't said enough.
I don't know much. I said everything I could.
I want to know what you know about Power Rangers.
I told you I was into them in the beginning, way back in the day. I haven't watched anything since.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you should go back and watch them.
I tried to be involved, show you the redesigns that I know.
Yeah.
I know of the movie video game in great lengths, but
Oh, for
that
Genesis,
game was
yeah.
great.
but that is not gonna. They're not gonna make a good movie game.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah.
They might. They're not.
Let's wrap this up.
Okay.
I'm done.
So
You scared me.
you've heard our opinions on it, Now, let us know what you think in the comments below on our Facebook group, or follow us on Twitter. You know ours. This is Tim's. So,
what is yours?
Do you want to know mine?
Speak it.
Do you want me to tell a story about it, or do you want me to just...
You can if you
want. Go ahead.
Because I don't want to ramble
Right.
because Bob really threatened me.
No, I
felt threatened.
I got you to wrap up, didn't
I felt threatened. It's LP Soldier 0303.
So, there you go. Like this video, subscribe to this channel,
Share it!
Comment.
All that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, can we do like the thing where like they do in other ones where they're like, subscribe,
You can.
comment,
Yeah.
share.
Now that's going to be everywhere you
Facebook.
pointed.
Yeah.
A picture of a turtle. And a hyena.
You're giving me work to do.
Thank you very much for watching. Have a good week. I read somewhere that he may be playing Kyle Katarn, or or this is like a rebel Jedi, or like a like the badass Han Solo character.
If he's Kyle Katarn, they can have all my money.
Yeah.
It's totally silly. He moves like nothing I've ever seen before, and you control each limb one at a time. That's what makes this game fun, unique, and interesting to play. Anyway, here are some games that are just like Octodad.
So this show is just going to be the best thing ever. Guaranteed. It can just be her sitting at a desk, eating a sandwich, or reading a newspaper. And I'll tune in every week. Although, to be honest, I have a weird thing for people eating sandwiches.